everyone. I'm in Prague, a beautiful cathedral. And after a workshop that discusses the matching and blessing process here in Prague. And so I just wanted to make a few reflections. We had a chat with a few brothers and sisters. Yeah, of course, there are many different views and theological trends. And I find myself really not being very interested in those because I like to look at the Unification Movement for the contribution it gives, it has given, and it continues to give to the world. And I find this far more interesting, entertaining, and worth exploring than theological trends. I think, I have great admiration for our elder members who did incredible things, participated in really world-altering projects all over the world at a very early age, most of them, and abandoning their personal plans, their personal ambitions for education, material comfort, having their own house, having a career that provided good income, and instead being missionaries that live with very little and offer their time and energy for a cause that's obviously higher, world peace. Of course, many can say, oh, we built the movement, and now the movement is, the Unification Movement is this big organization. So all the support we gave went to create this big international enterprise, forgetting that the motivation behind all of it, before and the motivation now, is really to allow God to work in all spheres of life. And we have done this. And I think that because we don't ourselves give recognition and credit for the incredible work we've done. And I know, we need to kind of acknowledge the leadership of True Parents and the pioneering spirit to see projects that are really core to transforming the world and focusing their attention on them. But without us, all the members, nothing could have been achieved. So I feel incredible gratitude, and always recognize in my mind that everything we have comes from our ancestors, our elders, who had to sacrifice, or they were called to sacrifice everything. And it wasn't done casually, it was done with great vision and great desire to commit to God and to the better future of humanity. And personally, I think we've achieved incredible landmark transformative moments that awakened human spirit, awakened institutions, inspired institutions to work for our goals, world peace as declared by them. So we became one of the institutions that would check whether the right things were done and suggest going deeper and looking for solutions into the realm of spirit and history and with the mega projects like the common ancestors of the Jewish, Christian, and Muslim people, which gives them the in their own traditions, it takes away the reasons to fight, because each one of them would not be seeking to fight their brothers, sisters, and cousins. So recognizing that they are brothers, sisters, and cousins gives them new opportunities publicly, once stated. And the Abraham Accords now, I see them as basically being a direct consequence of the MEC project. I have incredible respect for our members who worked on this project, who invited clergy, invited people who had the transformative moment there, met the people who forgave their enemies after having their children being killed on all sides. Took this with them, and these thoughts matured over the decades and bore their fruit now. I know many teenagers don't like Trump, they don't like Trump, but I really think we need to recognize the fact that we did set the tone in the Middle East. The message was heard, and he has, I guess, the courage to ignore a lot of things in order to give recognition to this spiritual heritage of the Middle East that has very, very profound meaning. Because myself, I was researching because of the kind of call of the LGBT community to abandon values, Christian values and spiritual values. So in my research, I was looking at the spiritual roots of this call, what belief system is prompting this call. And in prayer and meditation, I was taken to the time of Abraham, because his father was an idol maker, and he was making idols for all the different cults and gods of the time. And Abraham was called to abandon this tradition of these gods, the existing gods, and instead embrace the God of which became the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And a very key element in Abraham's transformation into a central figure after he failed in his offering was the offering of Isaac, his son, and God revealing himself as the God who doesn't want human sacrifice, who doesn't worship sexual perversions, who wants to build the integrity of the family. Of course, in Abraham's case, within the context of their culture at this time, they already understood this. So it wasn't really a pure lineage, but it was the seed for this culture. And the core of the seed of the culture was, do not lay a hand on your son. And now I know that you have faith. And all the pagan gods, and we need to differentiate between the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that is the God we see as the central, or we see as the only God, and the pagan gods that were worshipped at this time, because there were thousands, if not millions of them, or hundreds of thousands of them, and that their not only willingness but encouragement to sacrifice a human being, to offer a human being to be killed, babies and adults equally, And in some of these cults, like the Shera cult, it was girls that were offered as temple prostitutes to be raped by their own family later on. So in my search, I was wondering, because I see that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was trying to revive the original ideal that he had when creating the universe, which was the purity of love and lineage, and true love, which is given for the sake of others. And all the other gods represented kind of the hate for humanity, and not just we can say hate for humanity. This is kind of a very general way of explaining it. More the desire to dehumanize human beings, and by this I mean, if a parent is called to sacrifice their own child, because in Abraham's case, like the principal explanation is that in order to sacrifice his own son, Abraham had to die himself. Like the parent, like the false parent, had to die himself. And in the case of all the other cults and pagan gods, this was a requirement of the faith, that the parents cut off their parental heart and offer their child as a sacrifice. So as a human being, in order for you to decide to sacrifice your child, you have to opt out of being a loving parent. And this is not a simple decision. And this decision has very, very profound consequences, because it remains like the person has to identify as the person who has done this for the rest of their life. And feel there is no forgiveness, and because there is no forgiveness, then there is eternal damnation, which the person feels that they themselves damn themselves. And this is really the biggest trick of the satanic culture, to prompt people into a situation where they feel lost, completely lost, to themselves, to anything good. So this resurrection of the culture of the spirit and of the parent really culminates with true parents who, I know people can have all kinds of opinions, but this prompting to be God-centered, prompting to revive life, human life, spiritual life, give rebirth to people through witnessing, outreach, encourage them to love their spouse, love their children, create a loving family. And I know it's kind of counterintuitive, because if we look at the elders in our church, they were called to sacrifice their family, because the global foundation needed to be created. But through the years, I've seen True Father really prompting always us to really invest in our family, invest in our clan, and become a tribe of Messiah. And I really think this is for our own sake. Of course, it's for the sake of humanity, because by doing this we will connect a lot of people to this culture of self-respect as a divine person, as a God's child, respect for a spouse as a God's child, and respect for children as the lineage of God, and respect for other people as members of this global family. So I don't really recognize any other examples of this kind of global approach to this matter, which is not kind of focused on just the church. Even though in our limitations we sometimes do think it's just us, like it's just our church, but in reality, through the providence of ambassadors for peace, we're prompted, and all the interfaith work we do, we're prompted to recognize the historic foundation and the fact that many people around the world are being prompted to revive this culture alongside us. Like, we have kind of a central message, but the effort to revive spirituality is global. And I wanted to say this because I just feel we don't really give ourselves enough credit as the people who have done these things, who have committed to build true families ourselves. And because we don't see maybe that things are ideal in our relationships and in our families, we judge ourselves even more. But we can look at the other side and say, we have tried and we have achieved a lot. It doesn't seem like it's much because we measure ourselves to an impossible standard, impossible for the moment. But we are moving ourselves, our families and our community and the wider community in this direction in a very silent way, but very powerful way. We're like the beacon, like the compass pointing north, that just sits there and reminds everyone what the right direction is. And we should give ourselves more credit for this as an organization, as individuals, as families, and just encourage each other more. So this is, I just thought this really needed to be said. I wish you all the best, a lovely day, a lovely week, and look at each other and recognize the kind of accomplishment you have, and also look at the mirror and recognize the accomplishments of that person. All the struggles, all the difficulties, but all the accomplishments too. It's not an easy journey. It's an uphill climb, and it's exhausting, but making a small step up the hill brings you that bit closer to the summit. So as long as we don't stop and keep walking up, even if we sometimes walk like in a horizontal line and we don't really elevate ourselves much, or maybe even go back sometimes, if we keep this awareness that the way is up actually, so, and encourage each other, I think getting to the top is doable. Best wishes.